I had a Hindu girlfriend who basically I wanted to convert to Islam and typed it on Google, how to convert a Hindu to Islam. My father basically went through his phases back in the day. He was beyond shadid and strict. In Nintendo 64 games, Super Mario had a permanent marker through his eyes. You know, I have no pictures allowed in the house. Zero tolerance for any free mixing, etc. It was like a flip, by the way. So it all happened in like 1 year because the dawa at the time was with little knowledge and loads of josh. There are evident enemies all around us. There are people who, for example, want to take our religion away from us internally, externally. We as humans, we as men, Muslim men living in the West, we're bloody clueless. What the hell do we even do with our lives? Bro, wallahi, we have the greatest opportunity to give da'wah and change the world. And we should see it as a fight. We should see it as basically as a global battle of hearts and minds.
Shoaib, welcome to the Blood Brothers podcast, bro.
Thank you, bro.
What's happening?
Good, man.
How's Malaysia treating you?
Love it, bro. Alhamdulillah. Weather's a bit humid, otherwise it's good. Mashallah, food's amazing, and vibes are just very chill, man.
What did you think of the GMC summit?
Well, subhanallah, bro. It was
You were giving away a lot of secrets.
I kind of did, yeah. Yeah, but you know what is Malaz to a degree had put a lot on me in the sense of being a practitioner, actually doing the stuff myself. I filmed myself, I created myself. My team is me. Well, now I'm outsourcing more, but really and truly, you know, to grow the way I have, there's got to be a formula to it. And at the end of the day, the vision that he sold to me was that we bring all the greatest Muslim minds and content creators and da'at together. So now is the opportunity to kind of, i.e. show them how to use gunpowder.
Do you think you delivered on that?
Me?
Yeah. Do you think you delivered on that big pledge?
I didn't have enough time to really go into it. I had so much more.
Bro, you had so many slides, and you got to the monetization slide, and then that's it, you had to end.
Everyone said to me they were so upset when that happened because a lot of Muslim content creators are burning out because they don't know how to use this to make money. And subhanAllah, they base and obviously Malaz, he did say, you know, okay, it was, you're gonna have to go from 50 minutes to 45, and then I went 45 to 38, and I was like, what is this? So I timed it for 45 minutes, but if I had that extra 7-8 minutes at the end, I think I would have wrapped it up. But unfortunately, I couldn't. But you know, a lot of them came up to me afterwards because Muslims are struggling with that. They're basically, mashallah, giving da'wah, doing their thing, but they really don't know what to do from there on, basically.
Now, it was a great presentation, and I love the way that you even sprinkled a bit of British humour. Not sure everyone commented, but
I saw you smiling, by the way.
I was cracking up when you were dropping some of the bars. I was like, man, again, me and Salman were cracking up. That was a great presentation. Let's rewind though. Let's take it back a little bit.
Sure.
Me and your dad have been Facebook friends for years.
Yes,
right? I know that 2 of your brothers are students of knowledge, right? And so tell us a bit about your background,
Sure.
The family environment that you grew up in.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about High Wycombe. Some of the viewers might not even know where
Yeah,
High
yeah,
Wycombe
yeah,
is. Tell us a
subhanallah.
bit about that.
So I come from, my dad's a typical working class taxi driver, grandfather, machine operator. No wealth in our family at all whatsoever, nothing passed down through generations, just literally kind of just standard growing up in the Pakistani area in High Wycombe. No level of entitlement whatsoever. My father basically went through his phases back in the day.
But he had a bit of an activist background, no?
Yeah, bro, he did. Obviously, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah,
but-
we're not going to get that, but he did.
So basically, he was beyond shadid and strict as a father, and that made me go the other way, because everything, you know, literally in Nintendo 64 games, Super Mario had a permanent marker through his eyes. You know, you can't, you know, no pictures allowed in the house, nothing whatsoever, etc. Any zero tolerance for any free mixing, etc. It was like a flip, by the way. So it all happened in like 1 year, where basically like
It wasn't even gradual.
No, it happened very, very quickly because the da'wah at the time was with little knowledge and loads of josh, basically. And so then I basically was going through a phase. I was 8 when he started practicing, and then going into my teens, I just totally rebelled. I totally went against my father. I was very much a nuisance to him. I used to kind of hide the fact that I never prayed for many years. My dad thought I did, except he had no control over me. And then I kind of discovered Islam myself when I had a Hindu girlfriend who basically I wanted to convert to Islam, and typed it on Google, how to convert a Hindu to Islam. Found Dr. Zakir Naik, started watching his videos, changed my life, and then the rest is history. But that was my environment, and I discovered Islam myself. My dad would always encourage me to pray, but you have to kind of find it yourself. My younger brothers are very innocent. They have never touched a girl, smelled a girl, listened to music. They've done nothing. I've done all the stuff that they didn't do. They have a lot of innocence, And subhanAllah, like, you know, we live a very, very different life, me and my younger brothers. They both, subhanAllah, have been studying from the age of 2. They're still students right now, they're 28.
MashaAllah.
So they've been studying for 26 years of their life. They haven't stopped studying. I obviously dropped out of college, took a more entrepreneurial route, etc. I have a very high risk appetite. My younger brothers don't. Very different personalities in one house. But alhamdulillah, like the main thing is my father showed me an incredible amount of love as I started getting older and older. And I guess that's where I have my personality, where I show a lot of brothers a lot of love as well. And I love that kind of element of brotherhood and unity together. So I feel that there's a lot that played into my psyche from my father. And I love my father. My father's my hero. I respect him so much. And I really and truly, I am very regretful over judging him a lot. But you learn that as you grow up and you have your own family, that at the end of the day, not all is everything that you thought it was. And perspectives have to change when you have to feed mouths and when you have dependencies, and when the people that look at you and think that, you know, you're their everything, but you think to yourself, I don't know how to figure this out. Then you remember that's probably how my dad felt. You know, no one teaches you how to be a father. No one teaches you how to be, you know, a owner of a home. No one teaches you how to look after kids. You have to kind of figure it out. So then the beats that I got from my father, they no longer leave those lifelong scars anymore. You see them as kind of perhaps, you know, moments where your father flipped out because he was frustrated. He couldn't basically get that extra bonus at work. He couldn't maybe figure things out as a man. Maybe he was frustrated with my mom or whatever, etc. So that's just a reality, but and you learn as you get older and you mature. And the main thing is to reflect upon this always. And alhamdulillah, I do a lot of contemplation upon my mistakes and my judgments of my father when he used to be so strict and harsh upon me. But alhamdulillah, wallahi, we have one of the best relationships now. You know.
Yeah. Did you manage to convert the Hindu?
No, I didn't. SubhanAllah, man. I kind of forgot about her after I was on my 6th lecture of Dr. Zakir Naik. I was like taking notes and everything.
Okay.
I was like, oh crap, I got this girl, got to convert. You know, SubhanAllah. So totally forgot about her. She didn't convert. And bro, the rest is history. I'm so grateful and glad that it went like that. You know what I mean?
So, you know, during the presentation, you gave like a timeline and a chronology of how active you were with the local community, with the shabab, with the youth, you know, doing activities in the park and just doing brothers link ups and that type of activities. And then COVID kicked in. So tell us a bit about that period and September 2022.
Sure. So the period of COVID specifically. Yeah. So when COVID happened, bro, it was at an absolute peak. So imagine, bro, you have 150 young volunteers in a small town like High Wycombe, bro. Not just that, but you've got all of these young volunteers, all of these active brothers. Everyone's just waiting for the summer to come around because we just had an amazing summer in 2019. Massive events, brothers crying, drug dealers breaking their sims, breaking up with their girlfriends. SubhanAllah, brothers coming on deen, changing their lives. A big brotherhood kind of, you know, brewing, and everyone's together. There's a lot of love. And we're all like 50 of us have booked an Umrah trip to go in April, right? So excited for it. So literally we're just itching, we're just chatting about it in like random combos, messaging each other, whatever. Obviously, COVID comes, lockdown comes in, etc. It all just goes like, what? Like, oh my God, all of a sudden we're paralyzed. I then basically get this, we call it kurk, right? Which you get an itch to basically just do something. Because, bro, I'm just like sitting there at home. I'm like, I can't do this, man. This is too much.
And you're a natural extrovert.
I need to be around people. I need to socialize, right? So you can't socialize, but the purpose of socializing is not socializing itself. The purpose of socializing is so you can influence people to help them to go to paradise. So therefore, I was like, all right, fine, I can't socialize, but let me at least try and fulfill my objective. My objective is to help people go to paradise. And I pick up a camera. Okay, cool, everything's going online. I always wanted to kind of, you know, go online and make content. But I saw the Dawah space and I saw the Dawah scene, not to name some individuals, but I learned a lot of things not to do. And this is actually very important, right? I think you're going to be interested in the conversation. I saw a lot of my peers who are in the Dawah space make mistakes. And I observed them. I was involved with IERA from 2012.
You were?
Right, I was there from day one, and I saw a lot of people who were in and around that circle, etc. I saw a lot of mistakes they were doing, a lot of things that they were doing, etc. When they went online, I just sat, you know, in the fringes, but I was a bystander, observing, because I was doing that in the community, and then I was always like, I'm never gonna go online now. What the hell? What these lot? Is that all we've got as content creators? You know, whatever. So a lot of it was born out of frustration to be creative. So I started doing short films, short movies. Then basically. 2022 at the beginning, February, we finished our very first project, which was making the first ever UK-based Islamic movie. I remember that. SubhanAllah, hardest thing I ever did. Edited the movie myself, script wrote it, directed it, all of that.
How much it cost?
Well, started with a 5K budget.
Yeah.
Mashallah, local drug dealer basically said, brother, wallahi, it's clean money. Right?
Mashallah.
He donated 4 bags. Right? So he came in, he gave us £4,000, and the other grand I fundraised. I got some money from local brothers. Then subhanAllah, sponsors came on board and we raised 40K. So it's 40K budget all in all, right? Hardest thing I ever did, got a slip disc from 13 hours of editing for a year and a half. I learned the art of speed editing. I learned the art of filmmaking, lighting, new cameras inside out.
All self-taught.
Also, everything self-taught. Everything just bumping into the walls. Just figuring it all out, ragos, right? Script writing, directing actors, etc. Shot list, screenplay, everything. It's the whole cinematic process, right? I knew it inside out. Because the hardest thing you can do is to make a movie. That's when it comes to content creation, that's the hardest thing, right? Because it's full level 360 production. That finished, and obviously I've been giving dawah for the past 13 years as well. So now I've been giving dawah. I've got filmmaking skills. I can public speak. All right, okay, cool. Let's just put it all together. Started getting my phone out, recording, etc. But then I thought, you know what, man, I'm trying. Nothing's happening. I can't go on social media. I'm struggling. And then subhanAllah, what ends up happening is I'm like, you know, oh man, like F this, man. You know what? Let's just take risks. Let's just do stuff. Let's just put my face on the camera. Let's just go and do it. Let's stop being a coward. You know, you want to benefit people, just go and do it. So I just basically just started experimenting. And then subhanAllah, I just realized that there's certain things that people love. That is making sure that the opening frame is something extremely visual, that your face is compressed in the screen, that they can see human eyes, that the opening statement creates curiosity, all of these things. By process of elimination and trial and error, I realized that there was an actual formula to going viral, right? So then what I did was I basically then kind of just started creating content, and then one thing led to another. Then I started optimizing it. Then I started creating a whole system around it. Then my whole life became content.
When was your first proper viral video?
End of August 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you recall what that video was?
I put on some headphones. I put an 85mm zoom lens on sideways. At this point, Tate was popping off with podcasts. I said, I simulated a podcast, and I said the quote. What was it? It was basically, you know, okay, hard times create, you know,
hard times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. Yeah.
Right. So I said that. It just went crazy viral. I think I got like 50,000 followers just from that one video.
Wow.
But then I realized, I was like, hold on. No one figured out that this is not even a podcast. I was like, no way. Like, is it like that? Like, then I just realized people are just consuming like this, bro. They're just on their phones. No one's that interested in you. They're genuinely not. So then I became so fearless. I was like, well, if I can get away with that, khalas, floodgates are opened.
Did you feel any ethical issues around that with regards to playing to the, let's be frank about it, the dumbness of the viewer?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It was always there, right? Okay. That's why I changed it.
Cool.
I took the headphones off, but I still kept the not looking at camera thing and took it to the bench.
Yeah.
Then my brand built with that, right? So I had that exactly. That was always playing on me. Is that, like, you know, they think it's a podcast.
How did you choose the bench, by the way?
I'll tell you that in a second.
Yeah, go on.
Let me finish this point and then I'll tell you about the bench. So because what I used to do, it's really bad. So like what I used to do is, like, sometimes there was a script, right? And I'd be like, yeah, bro, you know what, man, it's crazy. And I used to go into it, right? But there was no bro there, right? And so then I realized, nah, man, I don't feel right doing this. I don't feel like doing this. I can't do this. I can't use. So then I started looking into the camera, etc. And that went well. And then I was like, okay, cool, man. You know, this is. So then I got to basically. It took me about a year and a half to get to 850,000 followers on Instagram. So like June, July time, April time, 2024. I was like, I need to make a pivot, because right now, I'm not going to do clickbait stuff. I'm not going to do polarizing stuff. Try that, didn't work. And then basically, I'm going to now keep it clean, but I want to do motivational stuff. I like motivation, right? I love listening to guys like Les Brown and Tony Robbins and stuff like that, etc. And all just kind of motivational speakers, whatever have you, Simon Sinek and all these lot. Like, I really, really love the entrepreneurial motivation space. Because I'm kind of like emotional and sloppy like that myself, so I kind of like that, right? So anyway, I was like, why don't I do stuff where I'm just sat in the park, maybe there's a quote above my head, something deep, something like that, whatever, etc. My cameraman's just there with me at like 6 a.m. in the morning, He's Brother Fahim. I was like, bro, like just change the angle, just move around. He goes, oi, it's a Rami shot here, bro. Sick shot, bro. Why do you come check this out, right? So he's like, this is sick, bro. Right? Look at this. I'm like, no way. Right? He shows me, and I'm sat there on the bench. I'm like, okay, no, move it over there. It will look better, bro. We're just having fun. We're just experimenting. One thing leads to another. So then I'm like, come with me the next day. So I bring my microphone. I'm holding my microphone there, like, and I'm just like, you know. Then I start making a video. Then I made 2 videos that just went totally viral, right? One of them was being overweight is hard. Being physically fit is hard. Choose your hard. I made that video and it got like 9 million views, bro. And I was like, what the hell? Then I was trying to figure out, what is this thing? What is this recipe? How the hell did that go crazy viral? And then I made another video as well. And I was like, all three of them have just gone crazy. So what is this, man? So it's again, that same moment happened again where I'm just like discovering new things. That was last year, bro, about exactly a year ago. And that was 800,000 followers. And now, inshallah, tomorrow I should hit 3 million. So that's basically...
So that's 3 million on which platform?
On just Instagram.
And on TikTok you're on?
2.1.
On YouTube you're on?
About 400k.
What about long form content?
Yeah, so I've consciously not done it.
Okay. So
I've consciously not done long form.
So you're not looking into...
Oh, I will.
Okay.
But when I do it properly.
Anything in mind that you're able to tell us?
Yeah, of course. So what I want to do is I want to do cinematic documentaries, right? So I get all of my most viral topics. I'm already kind of working in the background, putting the pieces together, right? Get all my most viral topics, etc. And I basically create a cinematic documentary about it, but from a storytelling perspective. I'm a storyteller. That's what I do, right? I kind of know how to engage audiences. I kind of know how to take them on a journey, etc. So I know I've been studying kind of the YouTube formula for a while. And I've just stayed away from it.
Do you think YouTube harder to crack?
Much harder, yeah. But you could do it in a clickbait way.
Yeah,
that don't last, right? Or you do it in a proper way, but it's harder to crack. And
what's your thoughts on like the way Hijab and Ali and Smart John and these guys do their content? Purely in terms of because they're consistently hitting views and they have sizable channels.
They have a very specific way and very specific messaging that they want to do. My advice to them would be to invest in more skills. I'm talking about kind of soft skills, like and kind of hard skills as well, where you can basically kind of learn the art of filmmaking more, be more creative, etc. Like, you know, like Hijab had his movie thing, right? He should be able to do 8, 9, 10 of them, etc. Right? But you create some optimization. You don't need to go for a 10 out of 10 every single time. You maybe go for like a 7.5.
Sure.
But do like 2 a month. You know, something like that would be way more impactful in my opinion. I think sitting and doing talking heads. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but I've traveled the world, and you know, brothers from all over the world speak about Ali, Smile to Jannah, and Hijab. So, bro, at the end of the day, they're getting the reach and they're getting the audience, right? But in my opinion, obviously, I'm looking at it from a very different lens. I'm looking at the long game in the sense of, I know when I start YouTube, it will just totally leapfrog everything, because the way I want to do it is I want to do it with a lot of funding, but I want to do it when I'm ready to fund it myself. Sure. That's the key thing for me. I want to fund it myself, and I want to be able to optimize it, and I want to be able to be very lean when it comes to the production, and I want to be able to duplicate it constantly. And I don't want it to be so strenuous. Now, one of the reasons why I'm delaying it is, well, I'm waiting for a little bit more of a resurgence of AI, right? Which means in terms of actual production, bro, like Kling AI, you know, and what Google have recently brought out, bro, you can make a whole movie with just AI. So imagine being able to incorporate a lot of that. Just a simple drone shot of your local area that you can't do. You gotta wait for a drone guy. Bro, just get that. You could just do it like that. I'm talking about production, keeping it lean. So I'm still very, very content with growing my short form content, my platforms like that, and then I'm gonna pivot sooner or later, inshallah, into YouTube. But I haven't really told anyone about that. But that is my plan. I've got my team working in the background. We've got about 9, 10 different videos fully made already, but they're all just scripted. They're all just waiting there, ready to film in a year, 2 years. I don't know. Let's see.
So those are some big numbers, bro. I mean, across the platforms, so those are some serious numbers. It's happened within the space of like 2 to 3 years. Have you ever had to kind of internally check yourself? Like, obviously, when you're amassing such big following, when you're on your own, when you're with your own deep thoughts, you know, we can all, you know, it can get to our head.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Have you? How often do you deal with that?
Yeah, subhanAllah. I mean, look, I come from a small community, bro, and I'll share one thing with you, and subhanAllah, it's the tarbiyah of being in this space for a very long time, right? I have way too many people hold me to account. My younger brothers, for example, they have no filter with me. My father has no filter with me. I have a community to answer to in my local area. I'm a people's person. I can't be a fraud. I have no room to be a fraud because of the level of people I interact with.
And you started with your own community.
So this is it.
So they're going to be the first ones to check you.
100%, bro, 100%. And so that's the thing as well, is that there's deep levels of reputational damage that comes with slipping up for me. And I'm conscious of that, by the way. So that's from an external perspective. From an internal perspective, there is, I don't think there's any man on planet Earth that doesn't love fame, money, status, these things, etc. And the reality is that you have to own the fact that you like it and then fight against it. It's a necessary evil and necessary space that we're in, that you have to do it. But the way I see it is like this. And I always, subhanAllah, yesterday was amazing, bro. The brother from Towards Eternity, he mentioned a quote and it just stuck with me. He said, imagine there's a burning building and everyone's carrying a bucket of water. That's your job. That's your job. You are that person who's carrying a bucket of water. Now, if there's a person who has a hose and he knows how to use a hose, bro, use my water. No problem, bro. Are you going to get the praise? Bro, why are we worried about this? Let's make sure that the house doesn't burn down. That's why I love things like this, the Prophetic Strategy Summit, is because it's the element of unity, element of wahdaniyah, of us coming together and seeing that there's a greater, bigger battle. So the project that I raised funds for was essentially, again, like I said, I talk in very utopian language, right? I say, the battle against Shaitan and his army. I have this sense of I don't believe in brotherhood, I believe in camaraderie. I believe in something much greater, and that is that you have to focus on the enemy. When you focus on the enemy and your lens is facing one direction, bro, you don't have time to worry about, oh, how sick did I look? Okay, everyone wants to make sure that they look good, etc. We're in era of aesthetics, bro, and we can't lie. We live in that. We're subject to that, bro. Let's just be real, right? But the fact of the matter is that what is the bigger mission? What's the bigger goal? There is a much bigger maqsad here, and that is essentially that the enemy needs to be defeated. And because I see it in communities all over the world, and I see it in my own community, and I see the effects that it has on real people, I don't ever live in this online bubble.
Brothers and sisters and friends, I see that you're enjoying the content. How come you've not clicked subscribe to the 5 Pillars YouTube channel? And if you're watching via Rumble, how come you've not subscribed on our Rumble channel? If you like the content, you like the guests, you like what we're talking about, it's absolutely inexcusable and cheeky for you not to click subscribe. Thank you and Jazakallah khair. So for our viewers and listeners, beyond the statement of Shaitan's army, who is that in real life?
Absolutely. I would say it's the onslaught of the degeneracy of the West. I would say that this is obviously stuff that I can't really mention, but there are evident enemies all around us. There are people who, for example, want to take our religion away from us internally, externally. Some people, and there are agendas at play as well, okay? And at the same time, but obviously, because I don't speak about that in my content, I'm not going to delve too deep into that, but I would say that there is a level of a vision that Muslims have to look at, and that is that you have to understand that Islam always has enemies.
Do you think Muslims have a future in the West?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I genuinely believe that this is where we are and this is where we need to be. Wallahi, bro. I'm so strong on that. I'm so anti-hijrah. It's crazy. And you know why I'm anti-hijrah? I'm not anti-hijrah because of the fact that, hey, there is a, as in, oh, we should live here and we got all these amenities. No, I'm here in the West because I believe the blessing of having the accent, the cultural tongue, the cultural awareness, understanding public sentiment. Bro, wallahi, we have the greatest opportunity to give da'wah and change the world. And we should see it as a fight. We should see it as basically as a global battle of hearts and minds. So subhanAllah, so I believe we live in a time where there's a battle of hearts and minds. And I think that really and truly,
Tony Blair said it's a battle of hearts and minds.
Well, this is it.
Bush said it's a hearts and minds.
So they know what it is, right? That's the battleground. And therefore, I believe that if we all run away and see that this responsibility falls on somebody else's shoulders, the reality, we're the biggest cowards in the world. Because at the end of the day, Allah didn't give us the opportunity to fight on a battlefield physically, but then at least Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us an opportunity to fight on a social battlefield or an online or a digital battlefield, right? And at the end of the day, that's how we have to see things, Everything has to be your end goal in mind. So what is my end goal, for example? My end goal is I have about 50% non-Muslim audience. And that non-Muslim audience, they say that if you can reduce the hate of your enemy, then that's success.
That's a win, bruv.
That's a win, yeah? Reduce the hate of your enemy, right? And Mufti Mek says this as well. fact of the matter is that the content that I create right now, it's very much applicable to big, broad audience, etc. What if that is the funnel for them to learn about the deen? What if that's the funnel for them to be aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know? So I've become way more conscious about that. And there's a lot more layers to this, Dilly, but the fact of the matter is that I believe as Muslims, we need to be very, very vision orientated. We need to look 30, 40, 50 years into the future, more than that even. And the reality is, bro, is that everyone has their own unique way. I am going down and going narrow and deep in content and in kind of social influence. But I'm also now pivoting slightly, and the project that I've launched is essentially working with people on the ground and working with youth leaders on the ground, etc. And that's what I know best.
So from your experience on working on the ground, you know, you told me you give them more than 170 lectures and talks, but let's hone in on your local community, because I know you're a community man.
Yes.
Similar to me, the local community in Bedford and Luton, it means a lot to me, because ultimately they're the one that cultivated me. The good, the bad, the ugly came from there.
Yeah.
How did you navigate around sectarian differences and theological differences? I mean, you come from a particular leaning, that's cool, everyone has a leaning. But I know that within the community in High Wycombe, there's a strong like standard a Brelvi presence, because that's the biggest demographic amongst the Pakistani community. How did you navigate around that? Because a lot of the brothers who would have been involved in certain lifestyle would have come from families that leaned that way.
100%.
So how did you navigate around
bro,
that?
Look, I'm going to be very honest, bro. My understanding of sectarianism and unity has obviously shifted over the years. That's a lot of it is to do with basically being in echo chambers, right? I have, you know, I'm a Salafi, right? I'm a Salafi at the end of the day, but I do Umrah tours with Abu Taymiyyah and, you know, all these other people who are obviously from that group. I think there's been a broad kind of understanding from everyone now that all this sectarian stuff is BS. I'll be honest with you, right? And everyone's on a different shade, right? On a different spectrum.
Even the Salafi spectrum.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
I think people have realized, like, oh, for God's sake, bro, shut up now.
Yeah.
I think we got to that point now, right? So the reality is, bro, is that I think we're at that phase where we realize, and I think Gaza has really kind of exposed a lot to us of what actually matters. You know what I mean? You're worried about the doormat when the house is burning, right? It doesn't really make sense, right? Look, there is always this issue of Aqidah and stuff like that, etc. That's always going to be in play. And obviously, I'm going to have allegiances to certain things, etc. Right? And I'll probably never leave that. But the fact of the matter is that the more responsibility that falls on your shoulders, and the more I travel, and the more I see other people, and the more I interact with other Muslims, bro, I'm like, hold on, hang on a minute. Every single one of these guys going to hell. What the flip, bro? Like they're the most pious, most well-mannered, best akhlaq, etc. Now, I don't believe in sentiment and being cute about stuff. But at the same time, what I do believe, bro, is the fact of the matter is that maybe sometimes we're also blindsided by our kind of soft bigotry, right? And that happens a lot, bro. And sometimes it happens in echo chambers a lot. And it's very important to be aware of those. Now, in those echo chambers, your teachers will always quote books. They'll quote statements of the Salaf, and they'll be like, and you'll read these statements, you're just like, what the flip, man? Anyone who says Allah is not above the arsh, what the flip? You're gonna help me, like so. But then what ends up happening is that you kind of step back a little bit and it's like, hang on a minute. A lot of these, he's going hell or he's a kafir, is ilm rijal. This is like knowledge of men. This is the stuff that men have come up with later, right? I'm not going to go all Yasir Qadi and be like, hey, listen, man, you know, like this is all manufactured, all man-made. Bro, like at the end of the day, there are certain principles that ground you, man. Learning Aqidah, you know, Tahawiyah with my teacher Abu Rumaysa in High Wycombe, I believe was the one thing. We covered this book over 3 years, bro. We went into detail, and like I've got like 4 notepads, four full notepads and full of notes, and just learning this and ingraining my. That was the best thing ever for me, bro. It grounded me so well, bro.
How do you prevent some of the youngsters that you're helping reform from becoming sectarian? Because that happens a lot as well.
Yeah, I would say you have to catch it very early. I noticed that this stuff that they share on their social media and stuff like that, etc., and I pull them up on it, etc. The good thing is because of my kind of clout now, I have it's like I'll message them once and they're stopped, which helps. I'll be honest with you, it's very good leverage, right? And I lean into it. I don't shy away from that, bro. Fact of the matter is that it's a tool, right? So I've been through that kind of 16-year process of kind of. I mean, you've been to Karima, right? I was public enemy number one once there, bro.
The brothers told me you recently popped in there.
Oh, of course, man. I love them brothers. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, bro, wallahi, like as in, I was listening to Sheikh Haytham and Tariq Suwaidan here, bro. I'm like, like, subhanAllah, man, a couple of years back, I'd be like, I'd walk out of that, right? But the fact of the matter is, you learn, you grow, you travel, you see, you talk to different people.
You mature, bruv.
Of course.
You mature.
You know what I mean? And one thing I'm happy about, Dilly.
Go on.
I'm happy at the fact that my flaws were not online.
That's true.
Subhanallah, bro.
That's true, because there's not online footprint for that.
Yeah?
I would have stuck there forever.
Akhi, it's just Facebook.
Yeah.
Literally. Facebook, bashing each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or Shoaib Hussain page.
Yeah.
Facebook. No one knows about that.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. I hope no one digs up. But point being is that what I'm saying is that that's what it was. And I'm so happy that I didn't go online in 2015, 16, 17, 18 when Asad Rashid was debating Abdul Hassan and all of that was happening. And
which I chaired.
Yes. Yes, subhanAllah. So I'm so glad I just stayed out of all of that. You know why, bro? Because there's no history or footprint or nothing that anyone can pull up and say. And I feel that's been one of the reasons why there's been a level of acceptance from the Muslims of my content. Is that everyone feels it applies to them. Like I had some TJs yesterday, bro, like kissing my hand. Like they were just like, brother, you know, we love it, bro. Can we invite you to this, man? Like,
MashaAllah.
And bro, I love that, man. These are the Muslims, bro. When I think about the Muslim Ummah, bro, I tear up thinking about it, bro, because I feel now a degree of responsibility, bro. You know what I mean? So now you can't have your soft bigotry. You can't have your kind of you can't slip in these things, like, you know, that is going to make certain people question, like, oh, what the hell? Okay, so is he proper hardcore Salafi then? You know what I mean? I've got no audience to please now, bro. I'll be honest. My younger brothers, bro, like, as much as I love them and they're my younger brothers, they probably watch this, bro. At the end of the day, even they're realizing, bro. They're realizing that, you know, at the end of the day, man, like all this stuff is just bogus, man. It's just basically boys who are on flipping DWP, Universal Credit, just got loads of time on Coventry Road, just like literally just bashing each other. And what? Over what, bro? Like you hate, like subhanAllah, look at Wright Street and Green Lane. They're so 95% similar.
Agree on most of it. And most things they agree on, bro.
Yeah, but bro, this is the thing, innit? It's territorial, bro.
Yeah.
It's jealousy. Come on, man. Can we not see it, bro? 95% of the stuff is jealousy, bro. It's actual, like, so, you know, when you really understand human psychology and you actually start really peeling back the layers, bro, most of this stuff is jealousy, bro. You know when people betray you in your life and you get backstabbed and the people that you thought that loved you, etc., and things happen to you and you go through your phases in life, etc., right? You realize that all the sectarian stuff, a lot of it is just jealousy, bro. And then also one of the other things, bro, is when you become a public speaker and you have packed gatherings and people come to your lectures and stuff like that. And sometimes when your numbers go down and if you don't curb this jealousy in your heart, if you don't curb these diseases in your heart, and if you don't recognize them early on and weed them out, bro, they can linger, bro. And I feel a lot of people of knowledge just leave it there. They don't actually question it. They don't actually do that tazkiyah that basically allows them to introspect and look at themselves and be like, you know what? Am I upset at that sheikh because he's got more numbers than me? And certain fights that you see with mashayikh, bro, and ulama and stuff like that, bro, a lot of it is down to jealousy. A lot of it is down to human emotions, bro, right? It's not even theological, bro. It's not even, you really love Allah and His Messenger that much, bro, that you're not going to go up to him, give him a hug and shake his hand, or you're going to actually make a refutation video about him. Why? Because you want views, clicks, etc., and you want to keep that territory for yourself, and you want to make him look bad so you look good.
Yeah, look, there's no denying that jealousy masks, or rather theological differences
Masks jealousy.
But on the flip side, let me posit this to you. Have you ever observed or reflected upon the fact that sometimes we could say, or we could use jealousy to avoid self-reflection? So when you know that you need to check yourself, you need to review things that you're doing, but you won't because they're just jealous of me. They just hate.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
So it could work the other way around as well. So jealousy and blaming on haters can also be a form of not checking yourself.
So okay, if you're talking about me specifically,
no, I'm talking generally.
Okay.
Because you hear it quite often. Content creators, brothers in the dawa, brother, he's a hater. Don't listen to him. They're just haters. Sometimes not all the haters are saying bad things. Sometimes they're conveying things in a brotherly way, couched in brotherly language, and not necessarily always clouding you.
That's a good point.
But I've seen them because
that's a good point.
I've experienced it myself.
Yeah, very good.
Because I think to myself, okay, look, surely not everyone's a hater, and some of the critiques are legitimate.
100%. No, very good point. I have nothing to say to that. Yeah, you're right. Because I agree with you actually.
On a quick one, as we come to a close, you know, you're dealing with a lot of the shabab, right? Would you say that age is between 16 to 25?
Yeah.
The biggest group, yeah?
Yeah.
What would
Perfect.
you say the big three things that are impacting Muslim boys, men in the West?
When you say impact, negatively impacting?
Negatively impact.
Negatively impacting.
Girls, money, drugs?
No.
What is it?
No. Right. I'd say lack of purpose and association or affiliation with something bigger than themselves. Men by their nature want to feel useful
Yep.
and want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Sure.
I feel from a fundamental perspective, if that changes, everything changes. When you're obsessed and you are focused, you don't have time for other things. You'll slip up, but you really don't have time for other stuff.
And the best of you comes out.
With the absolutely, bro.
When you're focused on
Oh, bro,
something,
100%.
men need that.
Yeah. 13 hours could go past what you think is 1 hour.
Yeah.
Right? So being mission driven, having a purpose, being part of something bigger than yourself, a cause, a project or something, I feel that is something that we need. Now, obviously, you're talking about what has been this problem affecting, but I think a lack of that, and I think that's something that we don't focus on as leaders for the Shabab. Inshallah, try and change that, right? But the fact of the matter is, I feel that's a massive thing. Everything else stems from that, by the way, because the biggest problem that young men have is in their free time, they don't know what to do with it.
So you're saying like vice, substance abuse.
That's later.
They're symptomatic.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
That's later.
The deeper issue is lack of purpose,
yeah,
lack of direction, lots of free time.
So this is what I would look at more fundamental things, because I used to be like, hey, it's this, but then that's not solving the problem. You can solve that, and then it pops up again, and it pops up again, and it pops up again. Like you could have a lecture about drugs and alcohol, etc. Brother will cry, oh my God, bro, I'm gonna change my life, and then basically he'll be like on his phone, Snapchat, going through the stories, swiping. Oh, she got fat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically he'll be like, oh, she's got this. Oh my God.
Or she's at age like milk and that.
And then he's looking at that, and he's got spare time. He's just had a great lecture, whatever, etc. He's stopped selling drugs, and then he's looking at that. Did that leads to one thing, and leads to another, leads to another. I personally feel that young men, especially in the West, bro, look, bro, Dilly, we have always, since the last 100 years, we've always gone to war. Men have always fought in battles. Men's risk appetite was very high. Men have always done more than just go to work or do taxis.
So
Fundamentally speaking, our whole dynamic, social dynamic has changed when I mean drastically over the last 75 years. Because of that change, and now we're living in the world we are living in, a hypersexual, hyper-stimulated world and reality that a lot of people are basically caged in, bro, I'll be honest with you. We as humans, we as men, Muslim men living in the West, we're bloody clueless. What the hell do we even do with our lives?
So there's a massive void whereby there's been a clear change in circumstance where men used to go and fight. Whether in the West they used to go fight, we used to have jihad, they used to be
100%,
training.
100%.
Now there's none of that.
Yeah.
And there's all the other stuff to fill that void.
Yeah. And look, I'll be real with you, this is one of the reasons why like the emergence of BJJ and training and stuff like that is coming now, but it doesn't really solve the problem.
No.
It's bro, you could still do BJJ and go masturbate tonight.
Of course.
Do you like the point being is, fundamentally speaking, I believe Muslim men need a cause. Muslim men need advocacy. Muslim men need belonging. Bro, I'm gonna be very, very frank now, yeah? However macho you are, how many gold teeth you have, how many people you've dealt with, etc. How many times you've been in and out of prison. You melt as a man the moment you feel that someone loves you, you feel connected to them, and you feel belonged as part of a tribe or something bigger than yourself. I don't care who you are. Me and you, we have people in our lives called our day ones. They're only your friends because they made you feel special.
100%.
And they prioritize you in their life, and you have a connection with them. And the fact of the matter is, they care about you.
Yep.
Right? Now, bro, you will bend rules for them. Yeah,
That's the truth.
I'm just going to be honest, bro.
it's the
Your boys, your day ones, the guys that you know, they come to your mind straight away. You'll bend rules for them, bro. You'll make sacrifices for them. Why is that, bro? And the reality is that men need their tribe. Wallahi, bro, this is the biggest thing. And when I mean tribe, I mean, bro, just like, going out with the brothers, having a munch, but then at the same time, imagine if there's an advocating cause that you are all part of. Oof. Oh my God, you know how powerful that is, bro?
It is.
And I'm not talking about no corporate BS, bro, like where you basically have to have a manager and this person and that person, then it's got to look like some kind of, you know, like hybrid dawa corporate organizer. I'm talking about just brothers. Just at the end of the day, they listen to a lecture, they go out for lunch, but then they also meet together for a cause. They meet together for a purpose. There's something much bigger, bro. There's something much greater that they are a part of, etc. I'm talking about genuine brotherhood, genuine camaraderie, etc. I've given, like I said, over the last 2.5 years, nearly 180 lectures over 19 countries, bro. Yeah, I've traveled a lot. And I'm telling you, bro, this is the biggest thing that we need. This is the biggest thing, that we need to be more purpose driven. We need to fill our free time. We need to make sure that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We need to feel connected as part of a tribe. We need to be part of people who we trust and love. We need to have a sense of genuine belonging and a genuine sense of comfort through connection with other people, right? It may sound a bit soppy, but I'm telling you, this, you bring that in, is the biggest thing that will throw in the West. Biggest thing, bro. They will, subhanallah.
But they already know that.
But this is the thing, it's their biggest weakness, because they're creating an egocentric world. They're creating a world where you are the center of the universe and everything else out there is basically not important. Your dad's not important, your grandfather who's in care home, not important. You are the only thing that's important. And with meta connections and with AI and with all of those, the resurgence of this right now, guess what's happening, bro? We are going to enter an era in 10 years' time where loneliness is going to become more prevalent than ever before. And guess what we're going to do, bro? We're going to create institutes. We're going to create think tanks. We're going to create organizations. We're going to create non-profits that are going to firefight all of that crap in the future.
Firefight loneliness. Can you imagine?
Bro, think about this, bro. We're going to try and do it through great, initiatives, bro. Why the hell can we not look 10 years into the future and see a project today, or look at something today that can actually work on that? And that's what I'm pitching tomorrow, inshallah, because that's the project that I'm working on. That, subhanAllah, bro, in 5 days of fundraising, we raised £150,000 from just a concept, which means people believe in it. What is the biggest problem? In my opinion, bro, one of the biggest problems is loneliness, bro. As a man, that's what it is. Bro, the moment you leave school, the moment you leave college, the moment you leave uni, the natural state of man is drifting.
Yep.
Drifting is the natural state of man. Bro, we always say to our boys, yo, bro, listen, catch up soon, bro. Yeah, been too long, bro. Been too long. Same bars being dropped every year, bro. Yeah, same Eid Mubarak message. Yeah, bro, should catch up. Never happens. Yeah. Bro, as you go older, as a man, you get responsibility. But what if we could create something that brings people together? And it's not going to be brotherhood. It's not going to be a chill on Coventry Road at 11 p.m. after Isha. That's not what it is. What it is, bro, is an advocating cause. And it's camaraderie and it's brotherhood. And it's done through being part of something bigger than yourself. When you can create a tribe mentality around a cause, around something. And my cause that I tell people to advocate for is one mission: get to Jannah and take as many people as you can with you, from a broad umbrella perspective. And how that looks, you decide, right? But at the end of the day, it's a da'wah cause. It's an evangelical cause, right? And that evangelical cause is what would build that camaraderie and build that brotherhood and build that centralized magnet that everyone just gathers around. And that's what creates that brotherhood. That's what creates that ISOC uni vibe, right? That you once had, those boys that you just always remember, etc. Right? It's that sixth form madness that you had, bro, etc. Right? This is the way people bond. Shared experiences, shared vulnerabilities, shared enemy. I forgot the fourth one. But these are the ways that people connect with each other. I'll give you an example, bro. We take people for Umrah. The brothers who come as a group of 4 and they share a quad room, they don't connect with the group as much as a brother comes by himself from Canada, Montreal, brother comes by himself from Sydney, comes by himself from Denmark, comes by himself from West London. Bro, these brothers, they leave crying because they love each other. But what made those 4 who came together not have the same experience as these 4? All 4 of them shared something in common, that was shared vulnerability. They all came not knowing anybody. So what happened? Each of them created a safe space amongst each other. Certain convos, for example, the social dynamic is like this, is that those brothers, they'll have a convo with these guys and it will last 10 seconds and they'll do a bop and they'll go. Yeah. Whereas these guys, they'll talk and they'll talk and they'll talk and they'll talk, and then they'll realize, oh, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not leaving the room. Why is he not leaving the room? Is he like me as well? Hold on a minute. Where are you coming from? Are you coming from are you by yourself? I'm by myself. I'm by myself. Hug. Yeah, it's like that. That's the dynamic, right? Why don't we science this? Why don't we understand that the way people connect with each other is through shared vulnerability, shared experiences, shared enemies, right? If we can create this into the hearts of young Muslim men, I'm telling you, bro, that's going to change the West forever. But how do we do this on an institution level? How do we do it in a systematic way? How do we do it in a scalable way? That's the challenge, right?
Final question to wrap up the podcast, right? Now, we've spoken about big goals, lofty aspirations, inshallah, they're fulfilled in our lifetime, inshallah, and the funds that are necessary are raised and everything's done. But a young brother watching this podcast who has got a lot of spare time in his hand and could potentially be doing things which are not good for him spiritually, clear cut haram and so forth, what 3 practical steps can you give to
How old?
18 to 24.
Okay, 18 to 24, fine. Okay, cool. They got more in common. 18 to 24 years have more in
I
common.
know, so like school kid teens too.
Yeah. It's
Grown
too
ass men.
Now, 16 is too. It's very, very important, right? I make this distinction a lot. From 16 to 20, boy, life is totally different.
That's true. Right. So 18 to 24.
18 to 24. Okay. SubhanAllah. Okay. If I had a young person here right now, bro, and I'd speak to him.
Like, Shoaib, bruv, I've got a lot of spare time in my hand, and with that spare time, I either scrolling the phone, watching porn, not doing much, just zombie scrolling, watching best series, one after the other.
The first thing I'd say to you, bro, is to go for Umrah. Okay. That's the first thing I'd say to you.
On my own or with
I'd say you have to go with the group. You
Okay.
have to go with the group.
Cool.
Right? Go with the group. Okay, go Umrah with the group. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is you need to find your tribe and you need to find good brothers around you. You need to change your environment and never be naive to think that your environment won't affect you. It's going to be the most important thing that affects and plays everything. If we look at the whole pursuit of the Prophet ﷺ, it was to create a Medina state. Why? The state does the work.
Yep.
Bro, I think people forget this, bro. He's a statesman. It wasn't just worship in your houses. Bro, it was a state where the Muslims all were. That's what creates the influence. So if you want to change your life, you can't do it in a vacuum. You can't do it by yourself. Shaitan wants you isolated. Always remember, Shaitan wants you isolated. He wants you to be by yourself. This is the key thing to understand. And if you give him that, privilege of having that leverage over your heart, right? You'll always be flipping, flopping, yo-yoing, etc. One day dari, next day flipping out with the girls and doing laps around the flipping neighbor. Bro, it's always going to be like that. You need an anchor. And that anchor comes from being around other people as well, right? Because your social dynamic will change. When your social dynamic changes, what's normal and what's not normal will be observed through your circle. And then you'll just take that on. Seeking knowledge is normal. It's giving that was normal.
So go Umrah, find your tribe.
Okay. And the last one, genuinely speaking.
And find your tribe in simpleton term basically means go meet people. Good people and with a shared cause.
Shared cause.
Could be family, could be friends, could be cousins, could be...
No? I'd say it has to be Muslim brothers, bro. Family is a very different dynamic.
Okay.
Family comes with its own issues, right? Cousins, they get same thing. It has to be built on La ilaha illallah. It has to be built on dawah. It has to be built on an evangelical cause. It has to be, bro. This is the only way it has to be done, right? Because the thing is that every other cause doesn't have that emotional string attached to it, bro, that really binds you together. Sorry, Dilly, one quick example, yeah? Me and my best friend, his name's Abu Alia, massive 6'2", mixed race, revert brother, dripping deep voice, ex-rugby player, right? I've fallen out with him 4 times, but every single time I patched my relationship up with him, it was after we had a campfire. There were 300 young brothers, about 150 shotters all around us, etc. In High Wycombe, we're around the campfire. We've got the nasheed playing in the background to elevate the ambience. We're giving the most emotional reminders. There's a brother there with knives, and he says, anyone with a knife, come and meet me around that bush and show me how much of a man you are. All the brothers start crying. They are so deep, so emotional. The brotherhood is beautiful, etc. If I have a difference with him, I look him in the eye, kiss him on the forehead and say, I'm so sorry, bro, forgive me, we're on this mission together. How do you bring 2 strong personalities like that together who have such humongous egos, but they love each other and they work together for a cause? Why?
There
needs to be this evangelical side to it. There needs to be this spiritual element, this emotional element to it that drives passion. If you don't have that, bro, because when we go to jihad, what do? Play the nasheeds. Play the drums. Why? Invigorate the believers.
Yeah, to lift the morale.
Islam is a religion of passion and vigor. It is. And you take that away from a man, his life becomes dead, stale, stagnant. He needs an evangelical cause that drives through passion, through vigor, through energy, right? And that has to be emotional, that has to drive him. And when he has, bro, wallahi, bro, you don't even need a third thing, bro. You give that man those
2 things.
That will fix him, bro. That will fix him. Obviously, last thing I'd say, seek knowledge. I'd say that knowledge will cure all doubts. And I would say learn the Quran. like as in learn how to read the Quran. You know, you will never ever go wrong from learning how to recite, learning how to read with tajweed. I'd say the Quran has to be your companion. Wallahi, bro. If I can tell you, bro, that the Quran has just saved me, bro, from so many disastrous dips in my life, bro, just opening Kitabullah and just reading it. I don't understand Arabic, by the way, so I read the translation, right? But genuinely, you find a home and a peace with the Quran when you can actually recite properly, recite fluently. And I would say that by Allah, building a relationship with the Book of Allah and seeking knowledge is just, it brings so much comfort. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you, but I believe that is a solution for any young man living in the West, basically. You know, the Umrah one is a bit off the shelf, but at the same time, bro, I'd say, look, listen, if we're looking for shortcuts, well, there's no bigger shortcut than that. But you need something when you come back. You need to be part of something when you come back straight away. That, honestly, if you do that, that's it, bro. It's game over, bro. He's locked in for life, in my opinion. You know, and I believe that is what will take him to a good ending and a good death. Obviously, the Umrah is to build a connection with Allah. That's you don't go Umrah for vibes. You go Umrah to build a connection with Allah. That connection with Allah is essentially the off-the-shelf kind of solution, going for Umrah. If you can't go for Umrah, subhanAllah, you got to build that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, in the West. Find that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Use it to two means. Number one, be grateful for the blessings that you have. Look at all the things that you have and be grateful for them. Number two, any tests and difficulties and calamities, have husn dhanni billah, have a good assumption of Allah. And then whenever you go through a trial or a difficulty, then you always bring it back to knowing that this is good for you, and therefore build that connection with Him. Any difficulty, any pain, end up on the prayer mat. That's a sign of Allah's love. Again, cheat code is go for Umrah, but essentially it's packaged like that, right? And then find your tribe, and then essentially after that, it's seek knowledge, build a relationship with the Quran. That's what I'd say, bro.
Shoaib, aka Sunnah Guy, it was an absolute pleasure, my bro. Jazakallah khair. It's an honor having you and moving about with you in the last couple of days in Malaysia, bro. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Thanks, bro. Alhamdulillah.
Brothers, sisters, friends and foes, I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Do remember you can find this episode on all 4 seasons on all the major audio platforms. And if you're tuning in via YouTube, don't be cheeky. Do remember to click subscribe to the 5 Pillars YouTube channel. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.